Since 2018, the Department of Conservation has led the delivery of 3 large-scale conservation projects, each contributing to our shared vision of restoring the mana, mauri, and ecosystem health of Te Waihora and its tributaries. The Weed Strike Force project aims to remove weeds from lake margin land, allowing indigenous vegetation to flourish and provide space for natural regeneration. Our 1 billion trees and Kuhuria Te Waihora projects are establishing corridors of indigenous forests, linking to existing wetland vegetation, and through predator control, enhancing the habitat and abundance of taonga species.
This place does look incredible in general. What was it like when you first got here?
When we first started working here in 2018, this was a closed willow canopy. And as you can see, 5 years later, the willow control's completed here. The indigenous vegetation is regenerating in some pretty high numbers underneath these dead willows. We're also thinking about that longer term resilience, and so canopy replacement's key here. And so we are also planting in sites like this underneath the dead willow canopy, kakatea.
So what are we looking at here?
As you can see from this map of indigenous vegetation cover of the Canterbury Plains, Te Waihora was surrounded by quite a vast wetland forest landscape. See, this area here is dominated by kakatea forests.
Does this sort of place require a lot more work to keep like this, or does it pretty much look after itself after a while?
I think ongoing maintenance at sites like this is important. You have that risk of removing one weed, the willow, and just providing an environment for the next weed. So ongoing maintenance is required. Canopy replacement, that's that longer term management.
Obviously probably take a few years for that kayak to create canopy. But
It will, but won't it look good once
be
it's
amazing.
poking above.
I noticed that there's a lot of mulch in this area. What's the story behind that?
This is from gorse. So over here we've got the higher ground. It was dominated by gorse, and we had that mulched, cleared, and we've planted it with appropriate species. So you can see, a lot of it is a drier land species over here.
These plantings seem a lot more established than the ones back there.
Yeah, these plantings are actually from an earlier program of work, but what they've done is they've given us a really good insight into what's possible with our more recent plantings. So if we could replicate this across these larger areas of the lake margin, then we've got a really resilient forest canopy establishing in the appropriate places. We're in amongst the last Manuka remnant that survives on the immediate Te Waihora margin, and this is where that ecological weed control is just absolutely critical to this program of work. And this area is a freshwater environment that is suitable for willow. Willow is surrounding this remnant of Manuka. It's around 2 hectares in size, and it's at risk, it's at immediate risk of willow invasion and being lost.
So how long have we been planting in this field for?
Planting started here in the winter of 2021.
That's not that long ago. What was here before then?
So this whole area was leased for sheep grazing up until the end of 2020.
Yeah. And pretty much immediately afterwards then we would have had to have planted it.
Yeah, so the lease ended in December 2020, planting began fairly early in 2021, and so this is a situation where you've got a change of land management happening fairly quickly. So from leased for grazing through to forest restoration work, and as you can see, 2 years from that and we're having an establishing forest here, which would otherwise be grazed or at risk of turning to weeds, gorse, willow, etc. We're walking across land that up until very recently has been grazed with livestock.
Yeah.
It's around 15 hectares of lake margin land. So there's an opportunity here to do something. The land is here, it's available. Could it be a further forest restoration project like what we've seen earlier? It's also helping link up that corridor that we've created on the western shoreline of Te Waihora. So this is a missing gap in that potential forest corridor. Through maintaining our current investment and building on the work already achieved, the Department of Conservation has an ambitious target to reach the goals outlined in this proposal by 2027. Working together and with the support of the Te Waihora co-governance partners, we can lay the foundations for our shared vision